This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this 2021 Mesa Ridge model 330 BHS. Okay, this is not a floor plan or a sales video or anything like that. This just takes you over some of the features. I'll show you how they work, point them out to you, that sort of thing. So, okay, so here we are at the door side at the rear. First thing you can see here is you've got power stabilizers, right? So there'll be one switch controls both rear, and there's a switch up front that controls both front. Now, you have these, they call these lock arms, but it's the same as a strong arm is, basically. So the thing is, you can lock these in place. Let's say you extend the jacks and stabilize your trailer. Well, then you can take a wrench and tighten them up just a little bit, so it takes the forward and rearward movement out. It just gives you a more stable experience. But the important thing is when you have to remember to loosen this if you're going to do it. Loosen them on all four jacks. Loosen them so they just slides freely when you're going up and down with them. The only time you want to tighten them is when you got it stabilized. Okay. All right. Now I just want to show you that this right here, that shaft with a pin through it, you can actually crank these jacks manually if you need to, right? And that's where you would do it. I'm sure there's a crank for it. Matter of fact, I saw it inside, so I'll show you that when we get there. The crank is just a cylinder with a slot cut in it that fits right over this. But the bottom line is you can operate these manually in case you have a power failure or something bad happens. Okay. While we're on the subject, let me see here. This is the switch for it right here. Let's see it move a little bit there. So they'll go down one at a time. You see the other one's going down. There goes this one. Okay. Just remember, if you're going to lock it in place with that bolt, make sure you unloosen it, or make sure you loosen it before you try and bring them back down or up, for that matter. Okay. Okay. Let me look through here. So this is where you drop your spare tire right there. It takes a 3/4 inch crank, which comes with the trailer. It's right through there. You got an outside kitchen here. Running water. You have a griddle, on and off switch there. You have just a cutting or a surface here, and then of course a refrigerator. This refrigerator works on 110 AC, so it basically whenever you turn the refrigerator, or excuse me, whenever you plug the trailer in, the refrigerator goes on automatically. There's no switch. Okay. All right. So just so you know, this slide here, this type is called an Accu Slide. There are different types, but this here with the 4 cables, 2 on each side, is an Accu Slide. This little compartment is just for the ice maker on your refrigerator. You can see you got the valve. So, okay, you have power awning, obviously, with the LED strip. One last thing up here on your slide room, you see the vent up there. There's a little latch on each side of it. You can push up on them. Therefore, the baffle inside will flap freely if you do that, because you want it flapping freely when you run the fan in your range hood. Otherwise, it won't vent to the outside. So make sure to open that when you're going to vent, and then when you're not using it, just keep it shut. You just push it shut. All right. This is another gas hookup. It's a quick connect fitting, so if you want to put a griddle or whatever you want, that's a place to hook it up. All right. This is your water heater. I just want to show you that this is the drain plug right here. You can see it. Let me see if I'm getting my camera there. But all the rest of this rod is an anode rod, sacrificial rod. That screws right in here. It takes an 1 1/16" 6-point socket to pull it in and out. You also need an extension for it, so you can get it out far enough to put a ratchet or a bar on there. And I also want to show you that there's a switch here, on and off. I'll shut it back off. That controls the electric heating element that's behind that cover. There's also going to be switches inside the trailer, but I just want to remind you that this switch is here. So before you can turn on the heating element, you'd have to click it on. It's done basically. The one way to look at it is you have to have water in this water heater tank before you run the electric heating element, for example. So when you shut it off here, it can't be turned on accidentally inside. So just remember that it's there. And also you have a gas valve also. That controls from the inside also. Okay, so TV, power, and signal. Put a TV out here. This is if you wanted to have a solar battery charger. Just a panel to charge your battery. You would plug it in right there. It's an option. You got two LP tanks. You got a power tongue jack. Keep in mind the same 3/4 inch crank. That'll crank your spare tire down. If you pull this plug out of the top of the jack right here, there's a 3/4 inch hex there, and you can actually put that crank right on here and operate this manually if you needed to. You also could put a 3/4 inch socket on a power drill too, or a battery power drill. Okay, that's in case of an emergency. So this is the power tongue jack. This is your deep cycle marine battery here. Come over here. I have to pick up the pace just a little bit. I'm running out of. I've got a limited time with this. Okay, so this is the battery kill switch right here. So if you want to shut off the battery, you can turn it off. The only time you do that is when you're in storage. Otherwise, you always want it on so it charges and discharges as it should. Now this device right here is an inverter. It's a power inverter. So it takes 12 volt DC and converts it to 110 AC. This particular one I'm sure is to keep your refrigerator running when you're going down the road. So we'll look at inside, but I'm sure this converter his main function is to power the refrigerator. Or this inverter, I mean. We do have a power converter on this trailer also, which I'll show you when we get on the inside. And this is the switch for your front stabilizers. Another Accu Slide. 3 Accu Slides actually. Now this has got two black and 2 gray tanks. So the front tanks are right here. Here's your black valve and your gray valve, right? That could be so basically you dump the black first, and then you dump the gray because the gray water is a little bit cleaner. All right. Obviously that's where your hose goes. Then you come back here, and you're gonna have another set. There's a black valve there, and the gray one over there, and there's where the hose hooks up, obviously. All right. So let me come back here. This has to do with the plumbing also. Okay, so when you want to use city water, which is the most common way to get water to the trailer, you just hook the hose right up there and turn it on. It's all set. Now, if you're going to a campground that doesn't have plumbing on the campsites, you want to fill your tank before you get there so you can use the outboard pump to pump water. You hook up to this one right here and fill your tank, right? And this is a black tank flush to flush out your black tank. Okay. Obviously there's a hose that goes on there. These are hookups here for cable and satellite. All right. You've got a ladder, which makes it easy to get on the roof, which is great because the manufacturer states that you should inspect your roof every 90 days. Look for cracking or separation, any place water can get in. Make sure none of the materials were damaged by low branches, that sort of thing. This is pre-wired for a backup camera. That's where the backup camera would go. Okay. So let's go inside. See if I can pick things up a bit here. All right, we're still cleaning in here, so it's a little bit dirty. But all right, so this is the power converter. I showed you the inverter, which was up in the front compartment. This is the converter. This does just the opposite. This converts AC to DC power. So it goes from 110 AC. You got regular circuit breakers like you'd see at home, and then of course they're all labeled. Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC over here. You got fuses, and they're all labeled. So basically this is also a battery tender, so as long as you're plugged in, it will send so much energy your battery up front needs and keep it charged up. Okay, when you're going down the road, the alternator on your tow vehicle will charge it. Okay, also if any of these fuses blow, they'll light up, and you can actually see them through this tinted plastic here too. So, okay. This is your control panel here. This is your awning, the light, and the in and out switch for your awning right up here. Now, never leave that out unattended, of course. You always want to bring it in when you're not going to be at the campsite. These are all lights, right? This is the switch for your water pump. You would use this water pump when you're pumping out of the fresh water tank, if you don't have city water, of course. You also use that to winterize the trailer and de-winterize it, or winterize it anyway. These are this is the gas switch for the water heater and the electric switch for the water heater. Remember I showed you there's a second electric switch out there in the lower left hand corner. Always make sure it has water in it before you use it. So here you have your slide rooms, all 4 of them. Okay. Your battery is charged, fresh water is empty, black is empty, gray 1 is empty, and gray 2 is empty. Also, there's 2 black tanks, like I told you, so you can switch over to black tank 2 there and see what's happening with it also. So you can check both of them from there. Okay? So, you also have a fireplace. You got sound in the picture here. I'm going to look just real quick to see if I can find the... Maybe I won't bother. Anyway, this comes with remotes. I'm not sure where the guy who prepped and put them yet. The remote's at, so. Okay, so you have a remote for the fireplace. The fireplace has a space heat. It's a space heater also, obviously. So you have a off, low, and high for fan speed. You got a thermostat. You can change the intensity or appearance of the fire. Also, it has a timer, so you could set it to turn on, 20 minutes before you get up in the morning, whatever, to take the chill out. Okay, your sound here, it's an AM/FM radio. Of course, you can stream off this USB stick here. You can use Bluetooth and stream from your phone or tablet. There's 2 different speaker zones in this one, zone 1 and zone 2. 1 is inside, 2 is outside the trailer, so on and so forth. So this is also an HDMI in. If you want to go into the system, like with a Blu-ray player or something, you could just go straight in there if you need to. It goes through to the TV set, okay? Alright. Now this device here is the carbon monoxide and LP gas detector. It should always be green like it is. If it goes off, you take everybody outside, leave the door open, shut the gas off in the front and figure out what's going on. So if it detects carbon monoxide or LP gas, it'll alert you. And also, if it beeps very slowly, it's telling you your battery is low. So here we go. LP is good, carbon monoxide coming up. And then, of course, the low battery alert. And then back to green. It should always be green. If it's not, get it serviced. Okay. So your microwave works like any other microwave. Like I stated before, the fan vents to the outside. You'll have to open that baffle out there, remember, if you want to vent to the outside. You spark to light this here. I don't know if I've... there we go. So you got 3 knobs, 3 burners, and a sparker that you turn clockwise. For the oven, you have to... There's a pilot light at the very back on the bottom, so you have to go to light here, depress it, then light the pilot light. After it lights, you hold it in for 20 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever, just enough to heat it up. Then you go to operating temperature. When you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light, so you have to light that each time you use the oven. Okay, so the refrigerator is 110 AC refrigerator. Like I said, the inverter will run this refrigerator, and so does your power converter when you're plugged in. So it's basically a household refrigerator. It's the same thing. So there you have it, double door and all the good options. Always make sure you put this strap on here when you're traveling so the doors don't swing open and dent them, you know. So, alright. This is your thermostat here. Right now we're on furnace. You hit the mode button to light it up. Go right through auto, which is the fan. And then from the fan you go to, oh, come on here. Here we go. That's cool. That's the air conditioner. In auto, you always want to try to run on auto if you can. There's furnace auto. I'm going to leave it right there. If I was to push the mode one more time, it would go to off and everything will shut off. Now keep in mind there's a lag time of about 5 or 6 seconds between all both the heating and the cooling. So if I was to turn the air conditioner on, it would be about a 5 or 6 second lag before it actually turned on. So that's normal. These are to raise and lower your roof vent and turn your fan on and off. So I believe that would be in here. No, I would be wrong. Let's see here. Oh, here. It's over here actually. So that's just the remote for this vent here. Okay, so you have storage underneath here, and these tabletops and poles will actually fit under there, so you can stow them, one on each side. You can pull this forward and turn it into a bed if you need to, for guests. But you have this big bunk room. Actually, it's quite large for a bunk room, and it's got obviously a bunk up there, and then you got this couch / bed, and then you have this bunk here, which can go into the up position. You latch it right up here, right? That way you can sit at the table. Now if you drop the table down and put the tabletop on these cleats here and use the back cushions to fill in the space, this turns into another bed. So actually you have four beds in this bunk room. And then of course your TV hookup. There's all the hookups right there. Okay. Let me see what else I can tell you about here. The sink and shower work like any other sink and shower. This is a GFCI. All the plugs in the trailer are wired through a GFCI. There's one in the back and one up front. So no matter, even if you're using the plug on the outside for a coffee machine or something and it pops, you're always going to set it at one of the two GFCIs. All the plugs are wired through a GFCI. Now the toilet, that's your flush pedal there. The black tank is right there, directly below. So you got to have chemical and water in here. So you dump 1 dose of chemical in there, and then you step on your flush pedal. Water will come swirling around and go right into the tank below, the black tank below. So you stand on this long enough to put at least a gallon in there. Some people use more, it's up to you. But you got to have at least a gallon of water in there, plus your chemical before you start using the black tank. Otherwise the smell will be considerable, and well, more than considerable, and you can also get it clogged up too. So you never use it dry. Okay, so you have another slide room here, of course. Let me see if I can find a light switch here. Oh, right there. I'll tell you about the cranks. I'll move them outside where they belong. But this is your sprayer. If you noticed by the where all the water hookups were, there was a place to screw this sprayer onto. The crank that I told you can crank the stabilizers with is right here. Remember I told you it was a cylinder with a slot cut in it. And then they gave you 2 of these, but they're both the same size. So these are the 3/4. This would work to lower your battery, right? And I'm sorry, lower the battery, and you can pull the plug on the power tongue jack and crank it manually also. Okay, you've got storage underneath here, and more TV hookups, obviously. This is the reason this is red is the signal booster, the digital signal booster. When you're using antenna for anything, you want that on. So you can shut it off if you want, just by going like that, but you won't get a good picture. Let's see if I can hit that again. Hold on. There we go. So, okay. And you've got a backer plate here to hang a TV bracket. So, okay. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, this is pre-wired for Wi-Fi signal booster. That's what that's telling us here. There's also going to be a port on the roof too for the antenna for it, if you choose to get one. Okay. Let me look around here. Okay, I think I've covered it. We're going to go through this with you also when you pick up. So, first I want to thank you for buying your trailer here at National RV Detroit. And second of all, like always, I want to remind you to inspect your trailer, all the seals on it, any places you caulk from the factory. You also want to go on the roof and be very careful or send somebody up there, whatever you do, but every 90 days, check the sealant, make sure there's no way for water to get in, make sure the roofing material or the vent covers or anything like that haven't been damaged by low branches or road debris that flipped up there or something like that. So just give it a good inspection, and if you see an issue, you can take care of it immediately. Okay? Thank you very much.